Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to episode 2 of Hits and Heels. I'm your girl, Dani. That's my girl, Terri. Coach Terri. Let's get it right. It's Coach Terri. So, welcome. We're so excited to have y'all here tonight for episode 2. We're in for another jam-packed session. So, we hope y'all are ready because we're ready. We're excited. Episode 1 was the bomb. I don't care what anybody say. I had fun. What's up, Terri?
What's up? We're back. Episode 2. Getting it in.
Yes. So, for those of you who are watching live on Facebook, hello. We are also going live on YouTube now. So I'm actually about to check that stream real quick, make sure that we are hey, I just got the email. YouTube is on it. Live on YouTube. So make sure you head to I'm gonna copy the link to our YouTube channel because right now we can't get a private link yet. We can't get a branded link yet. We need more of you to head over there, subscribe, watch our channel. Y'all, we need 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, 4,000. 4,000 watch hours in order to get the Hits and Heels branded YouTube channel. I mean, it is what it is. This is only episode 2, and we believe in our audience. We believe in our fans and our loved ones that y'all going to come through for us. So tell your friends to pull up. So like I said, I'm going to drop the link to our YouTube channel, excuse me, in the chat so that you all can take a look at that. All right. So, are y'all ready to get started? Coach Terri, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm trying to make sure I share everything on my social media because I totally dropped the ball on that last week. So I'm trying to get that together.
It's all good. We got an hour for this show. I'm excited. Like, this is about to be really
awesome. Well, I just want to go ahead and get it popping so we got a lot of stuff to go over today.
So much. So much. So let's get it started. Like, this was a big week in sports.
Week 2?
Week 2 was bananas. Like, from major upsets, right, to major debacles. Like, okay, so y'all know I'm from Cleveland, the Cleveland area. How the Browns lose?
How they lose?
I mean, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. Like, it's really traumatic being a Browns fan. I can't understand how we're up by 13 points with 2 minutes left to go in the game. And we get beat. They scored 2 touchdowns. 2. They 2-pieced us in the last 2 minutes of the game. So, I mean, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the breakdown with the Browns and
exactly what happened.
I'm still trying.
There seemed like there was a breakdown on defense. Obviously, there was a breakdown on defense. Yes. You know, I thought there was a couple of coverages that were missed. I don't know. What did you
think? Definitely coverage. And I think that one of the things as a Browns fan is that we do really well with gaining the lead, but we are underdeveloped in winning. We don't know how to win.
And that's hard when that's been the culture for years and being able to figure out how to win. I mean, my little middle school team is kind of like that. It's like, so here, here in Lexington, we've had the same middle school to win for 7 straight years, and none of the other middle schools know how to win. I'm hoping that this is the year where they, their legacy ends, because we do have a couple of teams, including our team is pretty decent too, but there's a couple of teams that I think that can give them a run for their money. And so, but I think winning is an attitude. And so when you don't know how to win, it's a culture, and you got to change that. And that's going to be something. It's going to take a couple of years for Cleveland to do that, but I think they're on the right path, though. I think they're definitely there. I mean, they've come a long way in the last couple of years.
Yeah. We've definitely progressed, right? The other thing is we have a rookie quarterback. I mean, Brissett.
I mean, I don't know what they was thinking with bringing in Watson anyway. You knew he still had some issues going on, and then you bring him in with all that money, and then now he's suspended for 11 games. I mean,
11 games.
I don't,
and that's
I didn't really understand that.
And I think that's something else that we understand sports is a business, right? Like,
it's a business, but
there's no doubt about that. But in business, one of the main things that we learn as entrepreneurs and businessmen and women is do your market research.
Yeah, like
how
did
you?
Like, how did you? Right, like there was still something pending.
Yes.
So why would you take the chance again that there would be an 11 games? I don't care if there was a 2-game suspension. You know what I mean? Well, like why take that? Why take that chance, girl? Anyway, I mean, I don't know, right?
But the other thing is, and I think that one of the greater issues with the NFL is the fact that there is a long history of domestic violence and abuse within the NFL, and there's no consistency in discipline. So the Browns also have someone.
Oh, that was. Oh, they sure do. Kareem
Hunt on video beating a woman.
Right. So maybe their culture there is a little suspect because they're a little bit more forgiving, maybe, than other teams, and so maybe that's why they took the chance with him, because their mindset is a little bit more relaxed when it comes to domestic violence, and they're willing to forgive players a little bit more than other teams.
But I also think that that's the history of the NFL.
I think it is too.
I mean, because it's not even that they may not even be more willing to risk it. It's that the NFL has never taken it seriously enough for teams not to risk bringing on a player with a violent past, right? So the fact that, we were talking about this last week, you have a player that gets suspended for a full year for a marijuana charge or marijuana possession, right? And then you have Deshaun Watson, who gets suspended for 8 games, and Kareem Hunt, I think he got an 8. I'm sorry. Deshaun Watson is suspended for, it started off at
11 games. Yeah.
And then it went to 11.
11.
Kareem Hunt, I think, got an 8-game suspension. So it's like, what are we telling victims? What are we telling?
Right. It's like it's definitely like it's a little small slap in the hand, and that they don't. I mean, let's put it this way. Michael Vick didn't touch some dogs, and this dude went to jail over some dogs. But you put your hands on a woman and you get an 8-day suspension. How about that? So they put more value on an animal than they do a human being.
And don't get me wrong, I believe that what Michael Vick did was despicable. But what Kareem Hunt did was despicable.
Absolutely. More so.
And I think that when you have inconsistencies and you have established a culture that has been inconsistent from the beginning, how do you build that consistency? How do you change the culture of an organization? And by an organization, I mean the NFL. How are we going to change the culture
I
there?
mean,
How can we change that culture?
it's no different than changing the culture of getting more women on the sideline. It's no different than getting more African Americans in the boardroom. It's no different than getting more African American head coaches in
Mhm.
positions. So I mean, just the all around culture is, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's going to be a never ending battle. You know, you can just go on and on about just different aspects of the cultures that different within the NFL that need to be changed.
Yeah. Um, I think that there has to be a sweeping push and a sweeping change across the NFL, across the league, because it's not enough to try to put band-aids on things that really need like surgery. You know what I'm saying? Like this is trying to cut cancer out with a butter knife
Absolutely.
instead of using your actual medical equipment to get rid of the cancer that is spreading across the league. And so I think that we're going to hear more about this, and I think that this is more than trying to address one person, unfortunately. And I think we're even seeing that with was it the Suns and the Mercury owner?
Yes, with his discriminatory remarks, and he got a 1 year suspension.
1 year
Like, what does that
suspension.
mean? You still own the company. I mean, you still are the owner. So how does the owner get suspended? That means he can't go to the games. I mean, what is?
Yeah.
I didn't really understand what that meant with him having a 1 year suspension. You know, is he 1 year suspended from being the owner? I mean, I didn't understand the nature of his suspension.
It's interesting how owners get penalized, right? Um, and so I think it is something that um, we it's gonna take a deeper dive. But I do feel like the NBA and WNBA, they're a little more progressive. You know what I'm saying? They're a little more into change. Um, they're a little more into discipline. And I just think that the NFL just has an overall huge cultural problem when it comes to abuse of all kinds. Um, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around it. And it's hard for me to understand how decisions are being made to involve people that have this past, that have a track record of these things, um, without doing like a more thorough investigation about what's going on, and you end up damaging your team, right? You damage your team. You there is a cultural impact of your team as well. And so I just think that again there has to be some things implemented in the league that says we will not stand for this. We have a zero tolerance for abuse. We have a zero tolerance for violence. Um,
There definitely needs to be a standard set um, with as many people that watch the NFL. I mean, you got to think it's the most popular sport actually that brings in the most revenue, that has the most watchers,
mhm,
that has the most that fills up. You know, you're filling up 100,000 people in stands every week.
right.
So your fan base is very, very large, and so when you have people watching, you know, you have an opportunity to um, to be a voice um,
Yeah.
for people, and whether in a positive or a negative way. And so they have to be very, very careful with how they respond to those different things, because you know if you can set the wrong type of standard. Um,
Absolutely.
by not responding accordingly. And it almost kind of goes back even to the whole Kaepernick thing, how they responded to even to his thing. There was never an educational component of why. They, even with, okay, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and Jerry Jones was like, okay, if anybody wants to, you can be, you won't be on this team no more, you're fired. Okay, well, okay, but y'all still missed the whole point of why he was doing what he was doing. And I mean, my husband brought up the point with Tim Tebow, who took a knee and prayed to God or whatever he did, and how come it was okay for him to do that, but to take a knee or to do what he did, and he did it at times that was, I think, sometimes even during the national anthem as well, right?
Yeah.
I think they showed that, but that wasn't an issue. It was only an issue when Kaepernick did it, and then now he's been blackballed. I felt like he was blackballed.
A statement came out from NFL ownership.
Yes.
That said,
yes,
he was blackballed.
Yes, and absolutely.
So I think it's interesting, and it's also problematic. But this goes back to, and I texted you about this earlier today. Like my grad work and my research was all about sociology in sport and how society infiltrates sports.
Absolutely.
Right? So the issues that we see in society, we also see them in athletics.
Absolutely.
Across the board. Sometimes it has a really good turnout, and other times, like now, we're seeing that the issues in sports are really like making it at times not fun to watch, at times unenjoyable, and at times very frustrating to see someone take a stand against injustice, right? And be told that you're disrespecting the flag. What?
But we're disrespecting a flag that has been disrespectful to us.
Hello.
Right. And I think that was part of the whole issue that a lot of people had missed out on, was that, then you want to tell me how to protest?
Come on now.
Right. When I tried protesting in other ways, you wasn't hearing me, or you wasn't hearing the message. So then now I had to do something drastic to get your attention. Mm-hmm. And then now you want to tell me that I'm wrong about that. And now you want to, I mean, we can go on about that. We'll move on from that. We got on a soapbox early today, girl.
We did.
Yeah, we'll move
but
on.
I think these are very important issues and our goal is really to help others think through these issues and see things from an unbiased perspective, but also from what is the reality of the situation. Are we truly looking at these issues with the lens of providing solutions, or are we looking at it as just entertainment? And I think that when we look at things as just entertainment, that's when we are able, or we get trapped by these thoughts of telling someone like LeBron James to just be quiet and dribble. And absolutely. The expectation that we have any right to tell another human being not to stand up for something that's right, or that they just need to focus on being an athlete, right? But then when we feel that action needs to be taken, who are the first people that we go to? Celebrities,
because they already have a voice.
They already have a platform.
They already have a platform.
Already have a voice. And if you telling me something that I don't want to hear, then you're an athlete. Be quiet. You're a celebrity. Stick to acting. Stick to playing ball. Or in Kaepernick's case is, well, you didn't get blackballed because of this. You actually got benched because you're really not that good of a player. Um, how many?
Didn't
Like
he
it's
lead them? He led them to the Super Bowl. Didn't he lead them to a Super Bowl? And
yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
tell
what
you
I'm
right
saying.
now,
Like
if
he,
if Williams didn't fumble the ball, that would have been a whole totally different outcome on that game.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I think he had two. I think Williams had two um turnovers that game. I'm just saying.
So who's to blame for real? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So I think that, and again, this is society showing its ugly head in sports.
I mean, I just think it also it comes with a double standard. If we have non African Americans watching our podcast, and they're gonna probably we're gonna get prejudged by thinking this is the black female podcast, or we'll get stereotyped as the angry black women, or we know all the stereotypes already, right?
Mm-hmm.
We already know, and what people need to understand is that we've already learned how to play the game of life so that we can survive in
Absolutely.
this crazy world that we live in, where we're constantly being oppressed, we're constantly being again stereotyped or prejudiced or whatever y'all want to call it, right? And so we have to learn how to play that game, and we learn it well, especially in corporate America, where we learn how to put on the fake smile and the fake voice, and the and our phone voices and stuff like that, so that we can make people feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as we voice our opinion, we're dead wrong. Just kind of like this podcast. I forgot to do a disclaimer the last time, child. So I guess we need to do a disclaimer that this is our podcast that we
Yes.
created, and if y'all come on here and y'all don't like what we got to say, all you got to do is just click up off of here, right?
Or jump into the comments. Go ahead. I mean, and it's crazy because I mean, I got into this little Twitter back and forth, starting yesterday, because, and this is taking us into a totally different direction, and I apologize, but it just kind of goes into the flow. Y'all will see my connection in a second. But there was a young lady who was on the soccer team, or is on the soccer team at the University of South Carolina. South Carolina, this past Saturday, this weekend, I think they played Georgia, and at a media timeout, they decided to honor their women student athletes, as a way of recognizing the 50-year anniversary of Title IX. Now, the media timeout ended, and there were hundreds of these women student athletes still on the field. And Shane Beamer lost his mind. He was out on the middle of the field yelling at them to get off the field. And I can't remember if he was saying something like, get these women off the field or something like that, right? So he was irritated. But South Carolina's, I think they were getting ready to punt the ball or something. At any rate, their next play was up. They were in formation. And so the argument was South Carolina was set up, and it gave Georgia too much time to adjust to their formation. I have several issues with this, because as the coach, why do you send your team out to get information when you see that the field is not cleared?
Absolutely.
As a coach, I'm telling my players, we're not going out on the field until it's clear. My second issue, so that's my coaching lens. My other lens is from the athletic communications lens, right? So as an SID, I know that here's the other thing. Shane Beamer was saying that he knew nothing about this event taking place. He didn't know these women were being honored.
How do you not know that?
I'll get to that. Okay. So because he said that he didn't know, then the AD came out yesterday with a statement that said Coach Beamer knew nothing about this. So now I have an even bigger issue. So this whole plan was trash from top to bottom. Because number one, as the marketing or the events promotions team, the athletic department as a whole, you have all of these women that you are trying to honor. How do you effectively and accurately and properly honor hundreds of women at a media timeout? That's problem number one. Problem number two is that everybody knew about this plan and nobody said this is not going to be enough time. It's a media timeout. Why was that not done, number one, at the end of a quarter, but really during halftime? That deserves an entire halftime segment. That's not a 2-minute thing. That's not a 30-second No, you can't properly honor a group of women and Title IX in a 30 to 60-second timeout. That's ridiculous. And you have them lined up on the sideline. What the heck? So now they're trying to get off of the field, and it looked like they were herding cats. Like, it was literally, it was insane. And so from my perspective, I'm looking at it like, okay, so now, coach, you overreacting, right? Because it really wasn't that serious for you to respond that way. And if you truly didn't know, that speaks to a lack of leadership and planning. Because I know in sports information, one thing, we get our behinds handed to us if the coaching staff does not get a full game script before each game. Every home game, you're sending your coaching staff, here is what is going to happen at media timeouts and halftime, if there's a special event. Otherwise, we're just saying simple stuff like band plays, cheers. So you mean to tell me that it happens for every game except for this one? Something smells like fish and it ain't me, right? I'm serious though. Like, something is fishy. Something stinks. And I try to not be like, and then this guy on Twitter was coming at me. And, he called me a maggot. Assumed that I was like a Trump supporter because I was saying from my experience, like I have years of experience. I have some skin in the game when it comes to sports PR.
Yeah, right.
So I know, like, it doesn't make sense to me that for something like this, the coach was not given the game script or told that this is going to happen in the middle of the game, right? But also, like, and I'm telling this on Twitter, like, you get a certain number of characters, right?
Right.
So this guy's coming at me, and I'm like, then he starts calling me names. So I'm like, okay. But then he says that there's no way that any athletic department would hire a loser like you. And so my thing was like, you don't want to hear from me, right? You're looking at me like I don't know what I'm talking about just because a statement was released. But that's part of PR as well. You're going to release a statement to smooth things over, to handle this crisis, right? And some athletic departments lie. They lie. They straight up lie.
I mean, they're going to say whatever they got to say to make themselves look good and not look foolish.
A lot of times the AD will step in and take the blame, to take the heat off of their coach or a staff member. I mean, unless it's something really egregious, but in a situation like this, it is very likely that the AD would say, hey, this is on me.
Right.
So it's like you get props for taking the blame because you're the leader of the entire department. But at the same time, I'm still looking at you sideways because you're the leader of the entire department and you didn't have the foresight to see that this was not going to be enough time to honor student athletes that participate in school.
I mean, it's South Carolina. This isn't like some, small school that's inexperienced with being in the media
Listen,
or being on national TV. I mean, you're totally experienced. So how do you? Yeah, I don't know how you dropped the ball on that, sis.
so, but I think that, and again, this is where we see society coming through in sports and vice versa, right? Like the fact that you will disrespect me because I'm coming at you with facts and experience and saying, like, he absolutely knew this was going to happen. But this is a department-wide failure because nobody had the foresight to say, we need to plan this better. This needs to be at halftime, or we need to find a different game to honor these women.
Absolutely.
And we need to find a different way to honor these women. Hey, let's do a banquet. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do something that really recognizes what Title IX means to women in athletics and women in education, period. Because Title IX doesn't just cover sports, right? So how, like, I just, But he didn't want to listen, and so I got called a whole bunch of names. I got called a loser.
But they never want to listen, especially when, it kind of goes back to the whole stereotype thing. When I don't know how many times I've been in a conversation about somebody with football, and because I'm a female, they're going to argue with me because they just swear I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about.
Listen. It's a whole mess out here. It's hard out here. And these women in sports streets, but we're here, two women that absolutely love sports, and we're trying to set the record straight and change the narrative really about what women in sports are capable of doing. And I think that when we look at the fact that Title IX is only 50 years old, that's really not a long time. But at the same time, it feels like it's been forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that again, we've come a long way and we still have a long way. And so I think that what we're doing is so important because we need to change the narrative. We need to change how things are done. We have to change people's thought processes and get them to see that your skewed view based off of your trauma, the way you were raised, and you were raised to be hateful, right? Or you were raised to be sexist or a misogynistic prick or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kind of stuff really happens.
And they don't know.
They don't. They think that their thinking is right.
You think that they know, but you don't know. Like you have no idea that you need counseling.
Listen.
Or that your mindset has totally been discombobulated by your trauma or the way you was raised or the mindset. You're the mindset of your parents. There was some teaching that you were taught. If you see little children, they don't see black and white. They don't see that. It's not until they become older that they start showing that, and that is a learned behavior, a learned mindset. I mean, even here, I'm gonna be controversial. I've seen some coaches that, it looks like they don't like black quarterbacks. I'm just saying. It looks like they don't like black quarterbacks, right? Because I've seen some schools locally that have had some good black quarterbacks that were, I think were better fit for the team, and they'd rather bring in somebody else that's not black to play quarterback. Again, it's a mindset, but I guarantee that the coach has no idea that that's the perception that they are coming across, and it's probably totally unintentional. It's probably not intentional. You're not intentionally doing it, but because of your mindset and how you were raised and what you think football is, or what you think baseball is, or what you think basketball is, or what you think, the role of black and brown players are compared to non-black and brown players. You don't know that your mindset is coming across that way. And so then when you're having those conversations, it's an argument or it's defensiveness, because now
Right.
I'm accusing you of something, and I'm not that way because I got black friends, or I love all my players, or no.
Listen, I don't want to
Yeah,
hear
I
about
don't want to hear it. I don't
okay.
want to hear it. Don't want to hear it.
I
Yeah.
don't want to hear it. But I think that's a great segue into what you have going on, Miss Ma'am.
Absolutely. So I got
So
on my
let's
Hall of
talk.
Fame shirt today. So this weekend in Lexington, Kentucky, at the Central Bank Center, which is adjacent to Rupp Arena downtown, we are hosting our first inaugural African American Sports Hall of Fame. And the reason why the Hall of Fame was created was, again, because we felt like that there were some African American sports figures in Lexington that probably did not get their flowers or their recognition as absolutely phenomenal athletes. Now, our first inaugural is we got the obvious people in there. We got Dermontti Dawson in there. He's already a Hall of Famer with the from the Steelers, with the with the Football Hall of Fame. Even if you're not a sports person, I don't know how you not know who Tyson Gay is. Even if you're not a sports person, I don't know how in the last, if you've been living 20 plus years, how you've not heard the name Tyson Gay in the last, 10, 15, 20 years, right? And some of the other people, might not be so like John T-Bone Shelby, who played in the with two Hall of Fame. He played with Tommy Lasorda, and he played with another Hall of Famer. But he played with the Dodgers, and he's got a ring with the Dodgers, right? So, if you're not a baseball fan, you might not know who John Shelby is. But, but we got a lot of other people that, that we're honoring, but they're from Lexington. Now, that's why I did my disclaimer earlier, sis, because I want to address this, because we're not going to be able to address this on Saturday. There's lots of people that were like, well, why didn't such and such get in? Well, why didn't such and such get in? Well, why didn't y'all put such and such in? Everybody wants their people in the Hall of Fame. Okay, well, this is our first inaugural Hall of Fame. So what we did was we put it out on social media. I don't know how we could have did it, but we put it out on social media, and we allowed people to go in, and they can nominate the people that they wanted. So then we have a committee, a selection committee, and what they did was, I don't know how they did it. I don't know if they went, okay, here's 100 people. Let's break this down to 75. Okay, now out of this 75, who's your top 50? Out of this 50, who's your top 30? Okay, out of this 30, who's your top, let's break it down to 22. Right? I don't know if that's the way they did, if that's how they did it, but they had certain criteria that they came up with ahead of time in order to come up with who they selected in the Hall of Fame. But they also wanted a number. They wanted a couple of teams, and they also wanted a number of women, right? So that meant there might be a male that probably should have been inducted in this first section that probably didn't get in it, right? And so we're just going to have to move him to the next one. Another thing that I want people to know about this is that this is not the only one. We're hoping that this is just the first annual one. So I don't know if we've decided whether or not we're going to go every year, every 2 years. Because we've been working on this for 2 years, and it has been a chore putting this together from scratch, with getting that, we went through COVID. Matter of fact, I think we started this right out of COVID. And so getting the nonprofit approved because took way longer than what we expected.
Yeah.
Because of, because COVID shut everything down, and everything was backed up. So we really had to go through loops with trying to get this together. And of course, everybody that started with us isn't finishing with us. So, when we had, I think almost 40 people that started, well, in these last couple of month or so, when I'm getting on the Zooms and we're on our planning meetings, there's only a handful of people that are still left, that are still, because we're not getting paid for this. So,
right.
So we're just kind of getting it in where we can fit in. Right. So those are some of the things that we're not going to discuss on Saturday, but I wanted to make sure I addressed it here. If anybody wanted to know, we're not getting ready to talk about why such and such didn't get inducted, or why, we will have another process afterwards where we'll put out the information. So if you know somebody that you want to induct it, make sure that you fill out that survey or the questionnaire or whatever we put out. It should be on our website later on, to be able to fill that out to induct who you think should be in it. But when you induct someone, again, there's certain criteria that we're looking for. Like, we really, really want people that were born and bred in Lexington. There was a couple of people that came up that are not from Lexington, but were absolute stellar athletes here in Lexington, but they weren't born here, right? So they kind of wanted people. So that was one of the criteria. Now, later on, it's our Hall of Fame, so we can do whatever we want to do with it. They might change that criteria later on, but I know that was one of the main criteria, that they had to be from Lexington.
I think it's important to understand that all Hall of Fames run like this. Like, everybody
has the criteria.
They have a criteria, and every year someone that the world thinks is deserving is left out. We see that every year.
I mean, even with the football Hall of Fame, it's like how such and such get it, and over such and such. Drew Pearson. How Drew Pearson is just now getting in the Hall of Fame over a whole bunch of other people that. So you're absolutely right, sis. Nobody's ever going to be satisfied with with what people are doing and what they're doing. Everybody has their opinion, right? Absolutely. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with the world today is if everybody thinks that their opinion is based off of fact. No, it's your opinion. Just because you think that way doesn't make you right, and just because I think someplace differently doesn't make me wrong either. That's a whole nother topic. We're going to tap on that one again anyway. So anyway, I am totally excited about this Hall of Fame. This, it's going to be a red carpet. I mean, I think we're going to have like some entertainment before. We have some entertainment during. We're going to have dinner. There's 22 people that are being inducted. The most exciting thing is, I know we sold like over 800 tickets.
Woo!
Girl, amazing. When I tell you,
that's amazing.
Early on, I think we were like, well, we'd be lucky to maybe get 200-300 people, and we're at 800. Like, the goal was like, the vision was like 800 people.
That's amazing.
That was the vision. But for it to actually come into fruition is just amazing. Do you hear me? Amazing. So it's going to be a black tie event. So everybody's going to be dolled up. I went and got my little black dress. I missed, matter of fact, I went and got my nails done already, so that I don't have to worry about it for this week, because I'm busy, because tomorrow I got a game, and then Wednesday, I just got so much stuff going on. So leading up to the event that I had to get it done early, right? But it's just going to be amazing. So everybody's just going to be mad because we're going to be blowing up social media, Facebook on Saturday. I think the meet and greet starts like at 5. The actual induction doesn't start until like 7. And I think it's going to go up until like 10 or 10:30 or something like that. So be prepared. The Facebook, Instagram is going to be lit on Saturday from everybody in Lexington, um, posting videos. I hope they go live and all that good stuff with the first annual African American Hall of Fame out of Lexington, Kentucky. Now, another thing that I hope that comes out of this is the support, because we actually want a physical Hall of Fame building. Like that is like the ultimate goal, to not only that this be an annual event, but we actually have a physical Hall of Fame building.
Amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So you guys make sure that you hop on. I'm gonna pop this up here one more again. Go to lashoff.com and make sure that you support this organization.
Absolutely.
Make contributions so that they can meet their goals of ultimately getting a building to house the Hall of Fame. I think that's an amazing accomplishment that you all have in your inaugural ceremony. To sell 800 tickets for your inaugural ceremony.
Oh my God. Like people were buying tables. I mean, I think there were even people were calling me about buying last tables at the last minute just the other day, because we cut ticket sales off like a week before. And they were still like, oh, Terri, I tried to get on the website and it's not letting me get my ticket. And I was like,
sold out.
That's a good problem to have.
But
listen, I definitely got to shout out the founders, Bobby Jones and Jennifer Jones. They're a husband and wife team, and it was their vision that really put this together. And I'm so thankful, because my husband and I are not from Lexington, and they allowed us to be on the board only because of our connection in the sports community. They let us be just a part of this, and I'm so grateful for that. And me and my husband are just so excited about that.
That's amazing. Listen, I done told y'all like president and first lady of Lexington. Everybody knows the coaches Bryants.
They will know.
Y'all are very well connected, and not just connected, but you do a lot for the community. So I think that, you know, that to me is a no-brainer to have you and Cisco as board members for their organization, and for you to be one of the forefront of what's going on with the organization. And even though I had it mixed up and I say you were a co-founder, but that's no. To me that would be a no-brainer too. Like, but I think that shows your leadership as well, because you're not just a sit back and let others do. You really take the bull by the horns and make sure that things get done. And so kudos to you. Shout out to you for taking that leadership and making sure that people are getting their flowers. Like,
I'm so excited. When I tell you I'm so excited about, I mean, there were people that when Jennifer and Bobby called them to tell them what we were doing, like literally just started crying, because you're like, oh my God, like, because they had never gotten the record, felt like that they got, or just never got recognized for the impact that they've had, like you said, on the community, as a coach or as a player. We just, again, it goes back to the conversation that we just had about the influence that you have, and being able to see, just how impactful that you can be, and how inspiring your story is, that you're a local person and now you're on this global level. and that, you came out of the trenches just like any kid that could have done that. Like I'm telling you right now, like Dermontti Dawson's story, he's one of them people that he had a big stature, and the coach was like, "You weren't interested in playing football?" He was not interested. He had like a horrible experience his freshman year in high school and quit, or he didn't come back like his sophomore year. He didn't start playing like his junior year. Goes on to play at Kentucky, and then gets drafted by the Steelers, and then becomes a Hall of Famer. Like, how amazing is that story? I mean, oh my God. Like, I can't wait to hug Dermontti Dawson. Do you hear me? Like, I've been to the Hall of Fame in Canton and seen his bus sitting in the hall. I mean, and his mom was the nurse at the school that I worked at Crawford, because I coached at Crawford. But when I was first working there, his mother was a school nurse. And you talking about humble? I mean, that is my girl. I can't wait to see her on Saturday, because it's been a while since I've seen her, because she's retired. So just stories like that. It's just so amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that y'all are doing some amazing work. Like I said, to honor people properly and give them their flowers while they're here. So
absolutely,
kudos to you all. We got 5 minutes left in this show, sis.
Girl, but we had like 50 topics that we could have talked about. that we just had lined up, Yeah. Say that again.
I said the list just keeps growing. It's like every week.
What about this? Yeah. We're like, what about this?
Right.
What about this? What about this?
But that's why I love the fact that we're in position to create our own platform. Like, that feels good to me.
Absolutely.
To be able to to use our expertise to talk about issues, but also to educate people on important things and events and people that fly under the radar and they don't get the recognition they actually deserve. And so I think that it is so important to use our platform for empowerment, education, and encouragement. And I feel like,
I mean, I definitely think that we're on our way. We're on our way. Yeah. You just have to get started. I know how, I just totally be I hate being on video. I hate talking. Right? Like, absolutely hate it. But because of this is bigger than me, and I have to just totally take me out of the equation and just be obedient to whatever the call is. Because there's somebody that needs to know some information that I know, whether it's talking to parents about the recruiting process or just the impact that sports just has, like we said, in the world. I mean, I think sports is the first thing, I mean, we can go all the way back to, I'm trying to think all the way, how far can we go back to Jesse Owens in the Olympics, or, just somebody where African Americans, broke the color barrier, and we just started this whole equal thing, trying to be equal. We know that, we understand that we'll never be equal. We understand that, right? But just always, sports just always has led that. I think has led the way for those conversations and for change. I think it started with sports, and I think sports continue to be that. We can still leverage sports, like the whole domestic violence thing. We can use that, and sports, it just helps us to be able to get those conversations going and educate people on different perspectives, even if you don't agree with what we say. Like we don't care about whether or not you agree with what we say, right? we're not saying we're right. We're just giving our perspective. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to sit down and just listen to the different perspective and take it into consideration.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and, and with your background in sociology, we know that cognitive dissonance, am I saying it right?
Yep. Cognitive dissonance.
Yes, is real, where you have your mind made up about what you feel, and it's very difficult for somebody to give you facts about something that is totally contradictory of what you might think or believe, but you
Yeah.
still refuse to believe the facts.
Whew.
So how can we go?
We're not getting on this topic.
Again, there's another topic that we will discuss in the future.
Yes.
I can't wait to get some special guests on. And
Yes. Corinne Koger Clemmer, we're coming for you for NIL, and Miss Richardson, right? Isn't that her name? Is it James?
James said of Cleveland. James said of Cleveland, NIL. Yes.
So I have another friend, and her name is Jamesita Richardson. So,
gotcha.
But Jamesetta Cleveland.
Yes.
We're coming for you too.
We're coming for you.
I think it would be bomb to have both of them on one show. So, ladies, Corinne and Jamesetta, we're coming for you. We want you on this show. We need you on this show. The public needs you on this show to talk about NIL, name and likeness, and how student athletes and their families can bolster this amazing opportunity, right? And not squander what's going on, but go about securing deals in a responsible manner that actually sets you up for success for generations to come. Let's be honest.
And they need to be educated on the fact that NIL does not mean pay for play.
Right. Yes,
it does not mean pay for play. Like, you cannot go to a school and then they're like, well, if you come play here, we'll make sure you get this much. No, it doesn't work like that. That's totally illegal.
Yes, that's still illegal. And so, but I think that those are important things to discuss, because it can't, if you don't know what it means,
yes,
and you don't know how to go about securing these things for yourself, you can fall prey to this, and now you end up jeopardizing your own career, but also your program or your entire school can get penalized for things that could have been totally avoided had you educated yourself. So
absolutely, sis.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get them on, because I'm gonna tell you right now, Jamesetta is cold-blooded when it comes to the NIL and the information. Man,
so is Corinne. Corinne is an actual lawyer. She's an attorney,
gotcha.
Entrepreneurs, and so she has really transformed her brand into focusing on NLI and NIL. I keep saying NLI. There's a program here called the National Leadership Institute, and so anyway, NIL. And so she's doing podcasts, she's doing interviews, she's in magazines and everything because of her experience and her knowledge. Plus she went to Hampton, so you already know, she automatically dope because she graduated from It's you out here. But seriously, so I think that leveraging these voices is also very important for us as well, because you don't know what you don't know until you realize you don't know it. So we're about to share it with you so that you can no longer say that you didn't know, but now you can be educated and help others. So that is our time tonight. It goes by so
fast. It goes by so fast.
So fast. But I'm loving it. We hope that you guys have fun. Tap in with us. definitely make sure you hop on all of the links. Okay. Hit up our YouTube channel, subscribe to that, get on our Facebook page and like that. Follow us there. Follow us on Instagram. Head to, and you know what? I forgot to put our Buzzsprout. If you an audio person and you really want to listen to the audio podcast, right? Make sure that you find us on Buzzsprout. And I did post I thought I posted the link. Let me see. I don't know where it is. I have to find it. I thought I put it up there, but if not, I'll definitely be posting all of our links again within the Facebook page. So make sure you follow us on there. We're excited. We're excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm flat out excited. I mean, this is going to be a great week. So so next week I have to come back with a recap.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna get it popping.
Let's get it popping, sis. I'm excited. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. Yeah, so make sure you tune in with us. And other than that, have a wonderful night. We will see you next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Good night, y'all.